we've been told by a former warden is he's a target. That's the fact of the matter, and that's why they have him.
Diddy offered a $50 million bond, surrendered passport, and proposed home detention, but the USDA deemed him a flight risk.
So, Diddy's empire is crumbling right before our eyes, and now that all his dirty laundry is out in the open, things are getting even messier. With his arrest, the spotlight isn't just on Diddy anymore, it's on everyone in his inner circle that's under investigation. And guess who's at the very center of it all? Yeah, Jay Z. You see, Diddy and Jay Z have been tight from day one, and now with the Fed circling, Diddy's warning to Jay Z to go underground before things get even worse. We've got all the details, so buckle up because this one's about to get real. So, Sean Diddy Combs is officially in custody, and let me tell you, his fall from grace couldn't be more dramatic. After months of public accusations and whispers about the music mogul's shady past, the feds have finally swooped in, and things are looking grim for old Diddy. He's been indicted by federal authorities in New York, accusing him of running what can only be described as an empire of S-crimes, dating all the way back to 2008. Yeah, you heard that right. What makes this even more interesting is that just a few days ago, this man was out here demanding the court to toss out the February lawsuit against him, calling it a bunch of lurid theatric and blatant falsehoods. Oh, how the tables have turned. Now, he's not just fighting rumors, he's facing a grand jury indictment. The truth is out, and it's uglier than anyone could have ever imagined. On September 5th, Diddy rolled up into New York like he was about to attend a VIP event, except instead of a red carpet, it was the federal court. He checked into a Manhattan hotel knowing full well the feds were on his tail and that an indictment was coming. The confidence though, right? However, the drama peaked when Dawn Richard, yes, former Danity Kane star and making the band alum, filed a lawsuit against him. She didn't hold back, accusing Diddy of years of psychological and physical A, including some seriously creepy groping. And get this, she also witnessed him allegedly A-ing Cassie, which, by the way, started all of this in the first place. Diddy's team tried to flip the script, calling it a cash grab and saying Richards was just trying to drum up attention for her album release. But the hammer dropped on September 16, 2024. Diddy was arrested in his hotel room, and after this, he was supposedly planning to turn himself in. Looks like the feds weren't willing to wait for a grand entrance. His lawyer tried to paint him as an imperfect person, but not a criminal. But let's be real. How many imperfect people do you know running ST rings? Yeah, I thought so. And just a day after his arrest, the bombshell indictment is unsealed and unveiled the full extent of his atrocities. The feds claim that Diddy didn't just dabble in crime, he built a whole empire around it. We're talking ST, forced labor, S-working, substances kidnapping, arson, bribery, you name it. He's accused of running this show for years, using violence and A to protect his empire, keep his reputation clean, and satisfy his own twisted desires. The court ordered him held without bail, and with that, Diddy's empire came crashing down. So just days after trying to dismiss the lawsuits as fiction, the truth is laid bare for the world to see. Yeah, that's just next level embarrassment. The king of bad boy records is now the bad guy in one of the biggest federal cases we've seen in the entertainment industry. Combs just can't seem to catch a break, or more like the law isn't cutting him any slack. Now, as we have seen since the start of this drama, Diddy's legal team tried their level best to soften his fall, and this time again, his lawyers tried to whine about the horrible conditions of prison. Specifically the one Diddy is being kept in. U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnofsky agreed with prosecutors and denied the hip-hop mogul bail when he appeared in federal court after what was charged in an indictment with ST, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in S-work. Combs' attorney had asked that he be released on bail and said he could post a $50 million bond. But U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin denied the request, saying in part that even with the bond, she cannot reasonably assure his return to the court or to the safety of the community, or a lack of witness tampering. Prosecutors argued in a letter to Tarnofsky that Combs is a flight risk and poses an ongoing threat to the safety of the community. You see, Combs pleaded not guilty to the charges during the same hearing in a lower Manhattan courtroom. An attorney for Combs said he could not have obstructed justice because he did not know he was the subject of a criminal investigation. However, Johnson, the prosecutor, told the judge, the defendant's power gives him a unique ability to influence and intimidate witnesses and victims. Witnesses we have interviewed have universally expressed their fear of the defendant, and his influence makes it extremely difficult to convince people that they will be safe from his actions. And yet another failed attempt to keep the music mogul out of jail followed his arrest for ST, and his lawyers are scrambling. They're now claiming that the federal detention center where Diddy's being held is nothing short of a nightmare. Combs' attorney Mark Agnafilo claimed, "The food is inedible from what I've been told. It's way too hot in the summer. Sometimes there's no heat at all. In the winter, the toilet water has been known to freeze. It's violent. Someone like Mr. Combs might be the target for certain things. We can't let that happen." In case you didn't know, Diddy is currently locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a place called hell on earth for its horrifying conditions and rampant violence. Not exactly the cushy Miami mansion he's used to, huh? The Federal Bureau of Prisons has tried to calm things down, releasing a statement saying they're taking care of the issues at the MDC Brooklyn. They've got a team in there trying to fix things, everything from hiring permanent staff to handling 700 backlog maintenance requests. But let's be honest, that doesn't make things sound any better. 2. The indictment. They've labeled Diddy a serial A with a pattern of mistreatment. That's been flying under the radar for years. I mean, it's like he thought of being a multi-millionaire would make him untouchable forever. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Here's where things get seriously messed up. According to the indictment, Diddy was allegedly forcing women into these freak-offs. Yeah, you heard that right. Freak-off, which prosecutors describe as highly orchestrated performances. And no, not only was Diddy the mastermind, but he was also right in the middle of the action, allegedly recording everything. Why? Not for a home video collection, but as leverage to keep his victims quiet. Talk about a twisted power move. He literally held their careers hostage if they didn't play along. Oh, but wait, it gets even worse. The indictment claims that women were injured during these freak-offs, and it's not just a slap on the wrist. Diddy allegedly went all-out WWE with hitting, kicking, throwing objects, and even dragging people by their hair. Some of these injuries apparently took weeks to heal, and it's giving real-life villain vibes, honestly. Prosecutors are coming in hot with over 50 witnesses, many of whom reportedly saw this mess firsthand. And if you think this is all just rumors, think again. Law enforcement scooped up 90 devices from cell phones to laptops loaded with receipts. And during the raid on Diddy's home, guess what they found? 3 AR-15s with their serial numbers conveniently filed off. Like, Diddy really thought no one was gonna notice? Oh, and as a cherry on top, they also found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Now, I'm not even going to speculate what all that baby oil was for, but it's not looking good. This isn't just your typical celebrity scandal. It's the slow-motion collapse of a once untouchable empire. Diddy's legal team is out here doing mental gymnastics, but as more details spill out, it's clear the case is about to get crazier. Well, to be honest, lawyers on Combs' side claim that Combs is gaining major points by cooperating with the feds, but really though, there isn't much he can do in his position. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. In addition to all of that, Combs was caught trying to manipulate the victims red-handed. You see, the authorities claimed in court that Combs had tried to silence people who might speak out against him. Prosecutors claim that since he was sued in November by his former longtime girlfriend who allegedly had years of physical and SA, he was contacted not only Harper, but also witnesses who received grand jury subpoenas, and at least one person he is alleged to have harmed. You all know Don Richard, former Danity Kane member, dropped a bombshell lawsuit on September 10th, accusing Diddy of groping and even holding her captive, right? But it didn't stop there. Richard claimed that both Diddy and his buddy Harper were in on it, with Harper allegedly witnessing the Diddy inflicted on his ex, Cassie. And now instead of staying calm and letting his lawyers do their thing, Diddy panicked and started blowing up Harper's phone, 128 calls and texts in just a few days. That's 58 calls in 4 days. Y'all desperate much? And then Diddy's legal team jumped in, saying it reflected just 2 witnesses having divergent recollections of similar events. Sure. But wait, there's more. After Cassie sued Diddy, accusing him of all kinds of horrors like AR and forcing her into those infamous freak-offs, you know, the ones where Diddy just watched and recorded, what did Diddy do? He allegedly reached out to another person on his payroll, trying to convince them that it was all totally consensual. Smooth move, Diddy. Of course, Diddy and Cassie quickly settled the lawsuit, and the terms completely secret. Diddy's denying everything as usual. And even though Diddy was keeping tight-lipped about the settlement details, the prosecutors weren't holding back. They dug up some juicy info, revealing that just 3 days after Cassie filed a lawsuit, Diddy called in an unnamed person twice. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This person just so happened to be someone Diddy's been officially and financially supporting. Coincidence? I think not. Also, the prosecutors weren't just making things up. They had receipts. They claimed Combs asked for the victim's support and friendship and attempts to convince the victim that she had willingly engaged in acts with him. Combs can be heard telling the alleged victim that if she continues to be on his side and provides support and friendship that she doesn't have to worry about anything else. It's just a thinly veiled reference to continuing that financial support. 3. Jay in the mix. Now that Diddy is likely facing some serious jail time, word on the street is that Jay Z is scrambling to get his affairs in order. You see, Diddy and Jay go way back. They've been thick as thieves for years. In fact, they also got into trouble around the same time, like Diddy's infamous 1999 shooting incident. And guess what? They came out of that mess without a scratch. But now rumors are swirling that Jay Z is doing some serious house cleaning. We all know he's got his own skeletons rattling in the closet, and with Diddy's fall from grace, Jay might be trying to clear his tracks before the spotlight hits him next. If you listen around, Karina White's name has been floating around in whispers and conspiracy theories for years, but her story took a dark and unexpected turn. Allegedly, Karina was pregnant with Jay Z's child when she lost her life. She had reportedly agreed to do a tell-all interview that would have blown the lid off Jay Z's seemingly flawless public image. But tragically, just days before that interview could happen, Karina White was found dead under mysterious circumstances. The timing? Suspicious, to say the least. Some believe it was a tragic coincidence, while others think there may have been darker forces at play, trying to keep Karina silent for good.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually screaming. And the Carters are responsible.
An entertainment reporter, Liz Crokin, took to social media that Jay Z allegedly had a mistress named Kathy White. Crokin used to write for outlets like US Weekly, National Enquirer, Star, and In Touch Weekly. Liz revealed that back in August of 2011, she was working as a senior editor for Star magazine. I then uncovered photos of Kathy hanging with Jay Z and Diddy, no less, at Town Nightclub in Las Vegas. So I called her back and asked her about the photo evidence that debunked her initial claim that she had never met or hung out with Jay Z. At this point, Kathy expressed to me that she would consider going public with her story. Days later, I tried to reach her at work with no luck. I finally got a hold of one of her colleagues, and I asked her if she knew why Kathy had been MIA. Her colleague shockingly told me she's dead. But the reports now show that Kathy didn't die of aneurysm because, according to an NYPD detective who was allegedly handling the case, revealed that Kathy's cause of death was uncertain, and the autopsy and toxicology reports were seemingly unclear. The detective at the time alleged that the death was considered suspicious nonetheless. It is quite possible that Jay Z might have had magic fingers on the reports to change the results. Sources from Foxella claimed a 911 call came in from an apartment on 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Ambulance came and took Kathy because she was sick. They took her to Beth Israel Hospital, and that's where she expired. They'll be doing an autopsy later today to find out the cause of death. But someone might have given Kathy a bad drug, so they'll do a toxicology, and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report. Yeah, so there are now some pretty bad skeletons that Jay might have wanted to keep hidden, and right now, he is sweeping his past thoroughly. Anyway, Danity Kane member Aubrey O'Day has been outspoken about Diddy in the past, reacted to news of Diddy's arrest, and she said, "The purpose of justice is to provide an ending and allow us the space to create a new chapter. Women never get this. I feel validated. Today is a win for women all over the world, not just for me. Things are finally changing." Attorney Lisa Bloom for Don Richards said in a statement, "We applaud the grand jury's new indictment of Sean Combs, which is strikingly similar to the federal complaint we filed last week on behalf of our brave client Don Richard. Given the brutal beating of Sean Combs' girlfriend caught on video and the 8 people who have now accused him of A in court filings, including Don, this arrest seems overdue." Even Charlemagne the God couldn't resist chiming in on Diddy's alleged foul play and his rumored forced favors. During a recent episode of The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne let loose, saying, "If he gets racketeering and SD for freak-offs, it will be others involved. Like if you ever ran a train with Diddy, you're probably going to jail. If you ever been butt naked anywhere with Diddy or half butt naked with Diddy, and there was some woman or man around and he told you that they were part of the party, you're probably going to jail." On top of all this, John Fuller, the go-to consultant for prepping high-profile clients like Martha Stewart for their time behind bars, had stepped into the fray with some ominous predictions about Diddy's fate. And let's just say it's not looking too lively. While Diddy might be putting on a brave face in these early days behind bars, Fuller warns that things could take a dramatic nosedive if the trial doesn't go his way. Fuller compared Diddy's current predicament to a personal 9/11, a catastrophic event that flipped everything upside down. This isn't just a minor setback, this is the music mogul's reality check. Having spent his life in luxury and wielding power, Diddy's now found himself in a place where all the glitz means nothing. With heavy charges coming, ST, racketeering, and transportation for forced S-work, plus no bond in sight, Fuller predicts that Diddy might struggle to cope with the crushing hopelessness of his situation. Fans are eagerly awaiting what this would mean for Jay Z and his other close associates. Diddy's been a monster for 30 years. He won't go down without everybody else going down. I'm sure these celebs are shaking. The day has come. He's so guilty, and I'm glad bail was denied. The judges did their big one. He's dangerous. Now he can sit in jail with his withdrawals. That's it for today. See you at the next one. Goodbye.